We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. 7:22 a.m. Today is January, 15th. Halfway through the month. 2021. It started snowing on the way home, so I got off work and it was coming down, so I had to take the long way home. So, about an hour drive. That sucks. In the snow. Fun. But that's Kentucky for you. It was a pretty chill day. It's been pretty chill here lately. Not much, though. Just been taking my days off like I usually have been. Catching up on sleep, just kind of resting up, enjoying life. That's all you really can do. I know times are stressful. I've just been distracting myself. So I got some plans. Sunday, I'm going to do an interview with Kenneth. It's an alias, so I can't remember the last name. But he, because of the type of job he has, he doesn't want to share his actual voice or name. But it is an alias, so I do have another interview coming up, which is cool. This will be my third interview on this podcast. And he's a reoccurring guest, which is cool. The interview is going to be on meditation, because I know times are stressful for a lot of people, so I think it'd be good to do an interview on meditation, how to do it, kind of a 101 for beginners, but he's already been talking. He wants to go deep and even get into transcendental meditation. So, should be fun, I like it too because it gives me time to interact, It's like, I tell you guys, I've given out my email a couple times. Send me you guys' stories, or if you want to get in contact with me, I'll do an interview with you, I have no problem doing it. I think it'd be fun. I want to start getting guests and stuff on here, so. And you can share anything, paranormal, spiritual, religious, whatever, conspiracies. We can talk conspiracies, whatever you want. Anything in the zone of weird is welcome on the channel. But yeah, today's subject is a adult subject, very sexual subject, which I've said it 1,000 times. If you're new to the channel, this is pretty much uncensored, man. I cuss like a sailor. I say what's on my mind. I've always said, this channel's not made for kids, so if you got kids in the room, preferably do not put this episode on, but we are going to be delving into kind of eyes wide shut subjects of a sex cult of the elite that a lot of people don't know about. And I came across this years ago, but it was when I was first really getting into conspiracies online and stuff. I had been red pilled for years, but I didn't have internet for the longest time. I was a hillbilly out in Perryville, Kentucky. No internet, still using VHS tapes, you know. I was red pilled. I knew that there was a gigantic conspiracy going on, but I had really no contact with the outside world, you know. Um, but I remember like years ago, I came across some weird YouTube video. I can't even remember because I was just delving deep down the rabbit hole. And it's talking about there was a sex cult, and Bill Maher was a member of it. And in here recently, I started listening to Wano Savin, some of his interviews and stuff, which my buddy told me actually, ironically, synchronicities. Like I said, there's been synchronicities like crazy. That he actually might just be a private eye. That he's, I don't know, not saying it's a fact, and he's not saying it's a fact, but that he might just be talking out his ass, sadly. So if you guys are a fan of the Snctm movement, sorry to burst your bubble, but he was digging around and he's like, man, Wano Savin. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, turns out he's a private eye. He found his identity and stuff, his actual identity. And he's like, yeah, it's sketchy as hell. And he's flip-flopped on interviews because my buddy, man, he loves him to death. So he listens to like all his interviews. And he's like, yeah, he's flip-flopping and changing stories. And so I don't know. I'm not trying to call bullshit on anyone, but kind of calling bullshit, I guess. So just use your discernment. But he had brought up in one of his interviews when Snctm went down, which I will do an episode on Snctm. You know, I'm not sure when. It's a lot of research and a lot of it'll be probably a several part episode because I'll be putting a lot together. But he had mentioned when Snctm went down, he said Snctm is next. So I went into researching Snctm and came across Bill Maher, and I was like, oh, this is the sex cult that was talked about years ago. Okay. So I dug around, and today's just kind of an explanatory episode of someone's account in Snctm. I've found multiple accounts. This account might fill up this full episode. If you guys want a part 2, just hit me up in the comments. And I found like 2 different accounts. I can share the next account maybe as a part 2 of this. But the episode today is going to be focused on Snctm, an account of someone who was a member. And yeah, you'll see. So sit back, you know, have a sip, have a toke, whatever, pop some popcorn and enjoy. I went to Snctm, a secret celebrity sex party with a $75,000 membership fee. Thanks for inviting me to the pagan Hollywood sex cult, my date says. I love LA. I'm in the inner sanctum of a secret sanctum sex party, and it's a spectacular scene. Per the dress code, the men are wearing tuxedos, and the women, who outnumber the men 6-1, are wearing La Perla bras, garter belts, and high heels. Everyone is fit and attractive, and everyone is wearing a mask. It's a straight guy's total fantasy, like Cirque du Soleil meets a Victoria's Secret fashion show. So already it's like basically Eyes Wide Shut. I did a podcast on Eyes Wide Shut. If you're listening on Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. And if you're on YouTube, I'll leave a link to the video at the end. Not a link, but a card you can click on. I heard first about Snctm while at Soho House in West Hollywood, a members-only club for Hollywood's creative crowd. I ran into some friends who had attended previous Snctm gatherings, and they referred to it as, quote, the most glamorous sex party we ever went to, unquote. You have to go, they told me. It's so eyes wide shut. So I got in touch with Snctm's founder, Damon Lawner, 47, former party promoter and real estate agent. Lawner says he was inspired to launch Snctm after watching the aforementioned Kubrick film. I was going through a similar thing myself, struggling with being monogamous with my wife, he told me. When his marriage failed, he turned his attention to Snctm, which has since been profiled by Goop, the website founded by Gwyneth Paltrow, who is also rumored to be a Snctm member. The grand object of Snctm is the eroticism of the human race, he tells me. This lofty goal comes at a steep price. To get into Snctm, men pay $1,875 per event and $10,000 for a yearly membership, or $75,000 for a lifetime quote-unquote Dominus VIP membership. Women get in free via an application process that involves an online application and a Skype or in-person interview. If they're hot, they're in. If they're not, they can't even pay to get in. Oh, there you go. That's where's the feminist going after this? Seriously. I mean, they're focused on just the average white guy, it seems like. Where's the feminist going after this? They would say it's empowering. Oh, okay. Perhaps unsurprisingly, male members are not held to these standards. Welcome to Hollywood. I asked Lawner for an invite. After promising that I will not reveal the location of the party, nor the identities of any A-list celebrities who will be having sex at the party, I score an invite, and because I'm a journalist, I don't have to go through the arduous application process. When I tell the guy I've been dating, he asks to go with me, to help with my quote-unquote sexual research. Actually, he begs me. I get it. What guy doesn't want to go to a sex party? To preserve members' privacy, Snctm parties are held at different locations. But the night I attend, it's held at the Snctm Mansion, a $4.5 million estate located in Holmby Hills, near the Playboy Mansion. Playboy Mansion is sketchy as fuck. Did you guys know that after, like, Hugh Hefner died and shit, like, they found, like, underground tunnels and shit underneath the Playboy Mansion? I swear, this is like a reoccurring theme. There's always underground tunnels, man. I've said it 1,000 times on this episode. Why is it? It always comes down to there's underground tunnels. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of poetic in a way because it's like hell underground, and it's like they call it the underground scene. Like, you never think of it as a literal thing, you know? When we arrive at midnight, my date and I are greeted at the front door by two topless girls in black ballet tutus and Zorro masks. The club's manager takes our coats. He tells me he's the former manager of the Beverly Hills Hotel Polo Lounge, but within the confines of Snctm, he's known simply as Mr. Hedonism. The living room is packed. It's a swanky house party with people chatting at the bar with cocktails or in front of the fireplace. The men are wearing tuxedos and sporting Snctm's secret society quote-unquote lapel pins. The women, who are clad in lingerie, are young and incredibly attractive. It looks like a standard Hollywood pretty people party, quote-unquote, filled with a handful of TV actors and MAWs, short for modeling, actress, whatevers. Lawner insists that the women who attend Snctm parties are mostly sexually adventurous. Quote, doctors and lawyers, unquote. He says no one is paid to attend the events. Paying for sex is so tacky, he says. We have so many successful female applicants who want to come to our parties that they come to us. But of the 20 or so women I talk to at the party, 8 say they are professional models or actors. 1 says she's a talent agent assistant. 1 a mortgage broker. 1 a housewife. 3 are students, and 5 simply say they do a lot of things. After my date and I spend a few minutes chatting with partygoers, the erotic entertainment portion of the evening starts, which is provided by what Lawner tells me is Snctm's official erotic troupe. A naked woman on all fours steadies herself on the floor as she becomes a human drink cart. Where's the feminist? Man, I swear, man, these modern day feminists suck. I mean, you guys are fighting the wrong people. You're fighting average white males when there's all this crazy shit going on at the top of the pyramid. This is why I can't stand modern feminism. With guests placing bottles of expensive bourbon on a shelf on her butt, a guy in a black cape and a black carnival mask starts having sex with a woman in a white Venetian mask while party guests look on, nonchalantly sipping champagne. Meanwhile, topless women in tutus do pirouettes, Pirouettes, pirouettes. I don't know what that means. Around the living room. My date and I just watch and take in all the eye candy. Man on the couch pulls down the zipper on his tuxedo pants and receives oral sex from a woman who looks to be at least 25 years younger than him, while 2 women take turns going down on each other in front of the fireplace. My date turns to me. Thanks for inviting me to the pagan Hollywood sex cult, he says. I love LA. My date and I head upstairs where there are 2 bedrooms filled with a bunch of masked people piling on top of white canopy beds. In the first room, a group of people are watching a woman hanging from the side of the bed, receiving oral sex from 2 other women. People are so friendly in this city. I then proceed to the quote-unquote playroom, a dimly lit, attic-like space with a bunch of white futons on the floor. That's where I recognize my first celebrity in the flesh. A British rock star who I've had a crush on since I was 12. I can't stop gawking at him. It's like watching a celebrity sex tape IRL. You know who I think that might be? For some reason, this is just allegedly and just my personal thoughts. Russell Brand. I don't know why, but when I hear that, it's just Russell Brand. But Russell Brand wasn't really a rock star, though, so I don't know. I have no idea who that would be. As he digitally penetrates the woman's butt, I make accidental eye contact with him. I give him a thumbs up. He returns it with the hand he isn't using. By this time, the party is in a full-fledged orgy. A guy in a now disheveled tuxedo dives under his date's designer gown, while a woman in a Carolina Herrera gown, who told me earlier she wore it to the Academy Awards, gives her partner a blowjob. In the middle of the futons, we watch some spontaneous wife-swapping going down between 2 attractive couples in Mardi Gras masks, ball gowns, and tuxedos. The room looks like a cross between an Oscar after-party and an amateur porn set. As my date and I head downstairs and out the door, we pass members of the erotic troupe having sex with each other. My date is elated. I'm going to have masked orgy vision for 2 months, he says to me, adding, That 3-girl threesome was killer. Unfortunately, because of the steep price of membership, it's unlikely he'll be going back anytime soon. But the erotic entertainment is quite the fun spectacle. If there's one thing I learned from the event, it's that Snctm members clearly know how to party. So if you have a few $1,000s to spare to participate in the eroticism of the human race, Snctm now holds events in New York, Cannes, and Moscow. So there you have it. Snctm. Fucking crazy, right? Nothing technically illegal, which Wano Savin says they're the next on the list. I've heard people say it for years, though, that they're going to take down Snctm, that there's some sketchiness to it. I don't know. I mean, I know I have a second account, which I said, because we're already going on to 20 minutes, I said I'll share that. Well, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll share the second one, perhaps. I couldn't find the other account, but I did find another one. So, the last hour inside the Masquerade party at Snctm Sex Club. Snctm Beverly Hills' most elite sex club holds a masquerade party every month. The invite list is short, just 99 people in attendance this month. Were a minor Hollywood celebrity, an erotic theater troupe known as the Devotees, and Bunnyman, an expert in the ancient Japanese rope-tying art of shibari. Esquire writer-at-large Mike Sager was in attendance as well. He profiled Snctm's founder in this feature. What follows is a scene from Snctm's Masquerade. By 2 a.m. Sunday morning, the circular driveway behind the tall hedge is a chock-a-block with a high-end collectible cars. Inside the Snctm Masquerade is peaking. Music swirls, laughter rises, bodies couple and writhe. Like a bar at the last call, anonymous eyes search the crowd looking to couple up. In the living room, surrounded by guests on sofas and chairs, Bunnyman is at work on a somewhat established actress, her arms and legs akimbo. The knots and coils of the rope at once strong and delicate like macrame. He is wearing his trademark black leather bunny mask along with a traditional close-fitting black Japanese kaikogi top and loose hakama pants. His tuxedo slippers, one of 20 pairs in his collection, are embroidered in gold with a skew on the left foot, the letter U on the right. A restless enthusiast who likes to geek out on a subject until he becomes an expert. Bunnyman's hobbies, besides the ancient bondage disciplines, include scotch, cigars, fine tobacco, pipes, and post-World War II contemporary art. His real name is Phuong Tran. He is 32 and the very first to purchase a membership to Snctm. His parents are refugees from Vietnam. He hints that his family held high position in the old country. He doesn't mind using his name because to Vietnamese people, Phuong Tran is like John Smith. Bunnyman joined Snctm, he says, because some of his friends were in other private social clubs, like the Jonathan Club and the California Club. I'll have to look into that shit, because I've never heard of either of those. And I wanted to be able to reciprocate, I can read, I promise you that, with something a little different. The actress on which he is working is blonde tonight. Sometimes she's a redhead. She is more of a character actress than a leading lady. She'll play the friend of the lead or one of the teachers at the school. She's wearing an ivory-colored bra and booty panties from Victoria's Secret. A black suede mask covers her eyes. She has brought along 4 of her girlfriends. They are watching intently. She can feel their energy as Bunnyman deploys various toys alternating between pleasure and pain. By the way, man, if you guys think that like these Hollywood actors and actresses are sweet and just normal, good, average people, I'm not saying it's bad. Hey, if you're a freak in the sheets, that's cool. Me and my wife are freaks in the sheets, but like we're married. Um, we personally don't like to share, but it just cracks me up that they think they're good, wholesome people, and it's like, yeah. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. They're not even hiding it anymore. I mean, they're hiding it obviously because they're wearing masks and stuff, but like some of these people are kind of easy to figure out. A control freak who can be the bossy type, the actress says, being bound and dominated is like a form of meditation. There we go. My next episode's an interview, or my Sunday episode's an interview. I'll ask him, is it a form of meditation? It's a way that I get to lose control or give up control. For a little while, I don't have to pay attention. I don't have to worry. I don't have to do anything. Someone else is looking out for me. She met Bunnyman on a fetish website 2 years back, and she's been coming to Snctm ever since. In fact, she came tonight specially to see him. He knew I hadn't played in a long time, ever since I left my dominant, she says. I'd been in a huge dry spell. It causes my ADD to go off, and I can't concentrate or handle things as well. There you go. Blame it on my ADD, baby. Sam. Because I don't have that outlet. It's like someone going without sex for a long time. People blame everything on ADD. I'm sorry, man. Just cracks me up. Bunnyman works through his toys. A suede flogger, a Lilo wand, a two-headed dildo, a riding crop, asking permission before each. At some point he selects a stainless steel number, two-headed in the shape of a lazy U. A prostate massager he finds useful for G-spots. Before he came to Snctm, bondage wasn't a particular interest. He was always somewhat vanilla when it came to sex. At early gatherings, another man was hired to practice bondage on the guest. What I was so captivated by was the fact that a lot of girls randomly volunteered themselves. It was like, shit, I need to learn rope. Since then, Bunnyman has found place and purpose, more than he ever imagined. His girlfriend is a former devotee, part of the erotic troupe. The second time he met her, he tied her up at a masquerade. Now they're facing parenthood together. Yeah, that sounds like a healthy relationship. There's nothing that could go wrong there. Everyone that I know who's at a threesome usually winds up in divorce, quite frankly. Just saying. Everyone at Snctm has their different journey, he says. Upstairs in a bedroom with a mirrored wall, a devotee in piggy mask and garter and stockings, a research analyst from the LA firm has been directed to a bed. She on all fours, her two handlers arranged it so her head is near the mirror, her bottom is facing outward, toward a semicircle of onlookers. She is naked except for the mask and collar. Another devotee begins whipping her with the riding crop. She alternates with a devotee in a leather police hat who kisses and strokes and gives oral. Looking up into the mirror, she notices the crowd that has gathered behind her, around the bed. Not close enough to touch me, but enough to have a full view of my a-hole and pussy, she will later say. They keep their distance, at once curious and intimidated. At last she finds her own eyes in the mirror, sees they are hooded and fierce with sensuality and lust, slightly lowered in obedience. Holy fuck, she thinks, this is fucking beautiful. I knew I was accessing something deep within myself, and I had always wanted to express, she later says. Presently, the sounds of passionate release roll through the aging Tudor mansion. The people in the attic, in the living room, in the various private rooms available in the house gather together their outfits and commence rebuttoning. In orderly fashion, they file down the staircase and out the front door, like spectators at the conclusion of a sporting event. Black-suited security guards, all of them handsome and muscular, pass through the house, moving along the stragglers. Out back, by the pool, Bunnyman is smoking a pipe of tobacco. It is a fine piece, a Peterson spigot with a bulldog bowl, made of briarwood, with a green emerald finish, and a sterling silver army mount. The pipe extends from his mouth at a jaunty angle. With the left hand, he kneads his right wrist. It's hard to say how many women he bound and pleasured this evening. It might be a labor of love, but it takes its toll. My arm is killing me, he says, exhaling a fragrant bloom on his hobbit's weed tobacco. But there you have it. There's Snctm. Eyes Wide Shut is a true story. How dark that rabbit hole is, I mean, I could dig further. To me, it just sounds like a bunch of Hollywood sex freaks. Like I said, I'm not judging, tis what tis. It's just, it's not my thing. I ain't gonna lie. But cracks me up that, people think these like Hollywood stars and stuff are like a moral high ground. Like, oh, they're good people. They're sweet people, I had some girl, I did an Ellen DeGeneres video like earlier this year, and she's like, oh, don't talk about Ellen. She does donations and this and that, and she's a sweet soul. And I didn't comment back, but I'm just thinking in my head, honey, you are on the wrong channel, and you do not know what goes on behind closed doors. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But there's Snctm for you all. You all have a good day.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.